And good afternoon, folks. Would you like to be able to make a sign like this? Well, we're going to walk you through some steps to get there, so just check it out. So sit back, relax, and of course, enjoy the show.
I'm gonna have to rain down a godly firestorm on you.
And thank you for viewing this video. If you like the content, make sure you subscribe to the channel by clicking the icon above, and then of course hitting the bell icon to get notifications when the next video drops. So here we go. And good afternoon, folks. Welcome to bring you guys another one. This one here, again, we're doing this laser thing. Now, there's a couple of things that I wanted to walk through with you guys in order to be able to make, well, this. Now, a lot of people are like, okay, well, it's a laser. Everybody has lasers. Wait, no, everybody doesn't have lasers. Well, how are you able to do that? Okay, I'm going to show you what I use to get to this point, and hopefully that'll help you guys at least be able to make your own projects. Just something in the house that you like that if you want to make, or some tags for Christmas or something like that. So let's get started. All right. Well, basically, and so that the first thing you want to do is have some type of, now I'm going to show you what I purchased. Now I have a 3D printer. Again, I have a Creality 3D printer, and it's called the Ender 3. So I wanted to get something that I didn't want to buy a whole new piece of laser equipment to, and again, the space issue. I wanted to be able to print some things, you know, be able to 3D print and also be able to do some laser things on the same piece of equipment. So I bought this item right here. Now, this is a small wattage lasers for that, again, meaning that its output is, again, quotes, 1.6 watts. Now, I actually know from experience using it already that it's actually above 1.6, the actual output, but let's just say 1.6 to be minimum, to be safe. Okay. Now, I bought this $60. So I can add on to my Ender 3 and able to use it. But as of people already probably seen the last video, well, yeah, this didn't go so well. I'm going to show you exactly what didn't go well. And that's this part right here. This part right here is, relatively speaking, not the same part that they show. But what do you mean? Okay, I'm going to actually show you what the ad shows one thing, and this is what you actually, okay, in the ad it shows one thing, and this is the board that you actually get when you order. Notice that the small chip that's in the middle right over here, that black one, notice how small that chip is, right? That's the thing that actually converts it from 24 volts to 12 volts. Okay, but let's go back. If you look at the ad, notice that it's not the exact same item. So that's problem number one, meaning that what they send you is not exactly what you get. So if you get the item that I have and you get it, and the first thing you want to do is just send it back, because it's not going to work. So in order for me to make that work, and I looked at this, I'm like, okay, well, that's not exactly what I got. How can I make my laser work? Because again, I had two of these sent to me, and both of them blew out instantly. All right, so it was left to me to do this. Hey, that looks familiar. That looks like the near to the one that was inside of the kit, but it's not there. So in order for you to make this laser work, buy this. That's part one. But in order to keep it working, meaning that so after you make a couple of prints, this doesn't blow out on you, you need to do something else. You need to buy this. And the reason for that is you want to make basically a little, you can put it on a little board, glue the two together and everything else to that. And again, you'll see that this says it's a 12-volt fan. What you want to do is, again, when the laser's firing, you're going to make sure you're going to basically make the again, you have to make that connection. You have to weld on, solder on these joints. You're going to cut this fan joint right here that it shows on here right there. You see that little pigtail right here? You're going to cut that off. And when you're soldering on to the part that goes to the laser, you're going to do both. So that way, when the laser is firing, this fan is on, and the fan is blowing over that chip. If you do that, you're set, and you'll be able to make some fabulous creations. So that's the hardware part out of the way. Again, to make it work, you have to have that buck converter that I showed and this here soldered together, or you can make a separate connection. As long as that is 12 volts running to this, and the fan is blowing over that part to keep it cool, you're golden. Okay, so once you've done that, then you have to look at software. What do you want to use to actually make the laser work? Now, there's a couple of pieces of software that can work. One is the Creality workshop, and unfortunately, this is unreliable. You see it's basically not in English, and when it pops up, it tends to shut, close, do whatever it wants to do and everything else, but it's kind of unreliable. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to open up your file. You're going to open up whatever you want to bring in and everything else that to let's say I'm going to bring in this flower right here. You open it up, you bring it in, and then it's going to give you a version of it that you can basically play with to get it to slider to look as close as possible. You click finish, and it brings the flower in. Right? Sounds easy. You make sure you put it on outline. Now again, if you switch any of these, you have to reload it in each time. So if you want to go to grayscale, you have to open it again, and everything else to that. Now, when you do this, once you have it set on this side here, you'll see how big you want it and everything else to that. Then from there, you just export the G code. You'll export it and give it a name, and then you'll put it on your little card. You put it in front of the Creality machine, and it'll print it. The problem is it doesn't have any features. It's really hard to make it work, and it doesn't look like what you printed unless you mess with it a very long time. So I tried it. It wasn't my thing. I spent the extra money, and again, this is free. You can do it with this for free, but I chose to spend a little bit of money and get something else. So I'm going to open the other. You can do the exact same thing. You can open a file and get it's trying to open a Lightburn image. I'm sorry. You have to import a file. My apologies. You have to import a file. And again, it will let you import, vector art, everything else like that. But we're going to import the exact same thing we did before. Now, we import this in here, and note that right away, you actually see how it actually is, and it's set up as to being an image. The other thing is, which makes Lightburn good, again, I'm not promoting saying this the best ever, but for me, this is what made it work for me. I was able to, again, click on this and have an idea of, hey, how this was actually going to print. Now, again, you can speed it up and everything else of that to see how it's going to print and everything else of that to make it faster. Now, you notice the red areas here. It's not supposed to print the red areas. Unfortunately, with Marlin, it still does the red areas. In order to get around that so you won't have the red areas printed, you have to do something different. Okay, now for me, I actually have the scan set normally a different way. I actually rotate it so because I want it. I actually want it to come in at a different angle. So I usually start here 90 degrees different because I wanted it to go up and down. This works best for how this laser works. Again, with the 3D print, the way it works and everything else, that the bed moves, the laser stays in place and it moves back. But this one makes it work the best at a 90 degree angle. You can do it the other way, but it just comes out not as crisp if you do it that way. Why that happens, I do not know. I don't know if it's a issue with how this works, but for me, this works the best. The other thing that you have to do to make sure that everything is working correctly is, well, you have to do some test prints. And because what's going to happen is when you get a laser, all lasers are different. All print beds are different. Everything is different. You have to actually make your bed work effectively. And the only way I found to do this is to basically make a test box. Now, when I made my text box, again, all I did is use this here to make a box like this, and it draws the thing inside of it. And then at the bottom, you see the various colors that changes what these power levels are. I set it at this speed, this speed, this speed, this speed, this speed. That's why you can see the different colors that are inside of this box. Now, the other thing you have to do is go into here, and you'll see this is how it's supposed to be. The box is supposed to be perfectly linear. But my prints came out, well, fuzzy is the best way to put it. It would either be going way outside of where the box is supposed to be, or it was like, yeah, really fuzzy. So when I set these up at these speeds here, you have to go in and basically for every speed that you have here, that you see here, you want to add a value for that line offset. So let's say for the next one is 846, right? You want to put on a line shift. Now again, you want to, it starts out, it's automatically at 00. You want to go up by 0.25 increments. Now again, you can go up or you can go back. It depends on each one. So this here is something that you'll have to play with to get it to be non-fuzzy. I learned that going backwards made it clearer. So basically I went, okay, backwards. And each one of them I set 25, then I went to 50, then the next one up, I doubled it each time. So let's say if this was the 906, I went to 1,000. The 1026, I again doubled it each time. That way that you know that what you had before, you can see a big jump in the difference. Each time you would do it, you would write down what that difference is. So you'll have something like this, hopefully, right? Again, you'll have something like this. You see the numbers here. You can see how fuzzy it is the farther up I went. It got worse. So again, I did it again here with a different set of values. Again, I started this time here at 0.25. Now I got these values here from looking online at other people's things, and they said, oh, well, this is approximately what you should use for this laser. Again, then I tried it from scratch and did like this until I got it. See which one, again, you see it started getting worse. So I was like, okay, this is the closest one to where I needed to be. All right. So after I did that, you know, I did the same thing with numbers to make sure that the values I had were actually on point. And once I started having it correctly, then it went to making test prints. Now, again, you can see this was, you can see the wording and everything else of that, but you see right here, This is why I was like showing that that red section was actually showing up in the actual print. Again, you can see the red area. This was all in red. It was showing up in the print. I was like, okay, that's really bad. So when I was trying to print stuff, it wouldn't work. So let's go back to what we were showing before. So in order to fix that, open the value again. Let's go back to where we were. Open the flower image. You have to, oops, sorry, that flower image, move it to you want to be. Now you see it set up as an image. The way I fixed it is to come down here to tools, trace image. You want to get the trace as best as possible. You click OK, and now it turns into, basically, you've turned it to a vector. You turned it into an SVG file that it can see, it can manipulate, and do it correctly. Now you see it's on fill. If I double click on fill, double click on power, again, since this is a new model, we're going to show it again. We're going to change this to minus a 90. We changed it to minus 90. And this is the part that's really important. You click on flood fill. If you click on flood fill, now, sorry, you have to click on it first. Now, when I do it, when I click play, note that there's no red areas. None. Okay, let me show you that again. Let me go back into it. Let me go to this, click flood fill off. And if I look at it again, you see all the red areas. Now, this is not for every laser. This is only with the Creality laser. With the Creality laser, if you do not do flood fill, you will get these shadow printings. Again, you'll see right here where this is, you'll get that. That's what the red lines that you see, that will print, which will mess up your actual print. So in order, again, to fix that, you have to go inside of it, advance, flood fill, and again, overscanning you on off in this particular case, in this laser here. And when you print this out, it comes out perfectly. Now I'm going to show you my actual file for the family one. Oh, sorry, the Bless His House one. Nope, same thing. We're going with the same angle. Again, this is for the Creality laser. If you're using it on the Creality machine, this is your best settings. And again, when you go to flood fill, it will literally bypass the lines. It will literally look, oops, select it again, sorry. It will literally look like this. Now you will get to see when it's powering down, there's going to be a light line here, but again, in the actual print itself, you won't see it. It'll be so much, again, at a minimum power, it will not get those lines inside of it. And since there's only one little line going down it, it won't show up. Whereas before, and it was showing the red area, you're getting a lot of lines, and that will basically keep the laser on in that section and will burn that in and make it look, well, fuzzy. So this is how I made this Bless His House. Now, could I have perfected it more? Yes, I can put in something called cross hatching, which basically would cut, as you see it right here, would cut up and down, and then it will do a pass when it's doing it the opposite way right here, to basically make sure that there's no, like, right here you can see there's a little bit of lightness right here, but most people are not going to care about that because they already know how lasers work. So hopefully you enjoyed this. Hopefully this will make it better for you to be able to use a laser, and if you have light burn, just show you some things you can implement to stop that from actually happening. So again, this is Warp 103 saying warp out, have fun. We're going to catch you guys on the next one.